Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of B to Tech Bridge. Now today we're going to do a product review, and really it's more of a technology review more than a product itself, because the product, there's actually quite a few of them out there, and we're going to talk about IoT, Internet of Things. And the Raspberry Pi 3 is the one that we're going to be using as an example today in our conversation around how IoT can be used within the enterprise. Now, a number of you out there in the enterprise space obviously have heard of the term the IoT and its enterprise usage. Now, when we really consider what it means to you, at the end of the day, it depends on your line of business. If you're a manufacturer, IoT can mean a lot of things like grabbing sensory information from machine in the production line and uploading them to a server, a cloud service, crunching that data, using it for different purposes. If you're within healthcare, an IoT can mean the device that's attached to the patient or the patient's bed that actually sends you a lot of sensory information from heart rate to oxygen levels, temperature, movement. As a matter of fact, you can even embed it with some of the sensors within the beds that are within a hospital or even a home health. So again, depending on which vertical you're in, IoT can mean different things, but at the end of the day, why are these products successful and why are they really useful within the enterprise space? So, using this example, as you can see, it is a pretty nifty little device. Now, it is a powerful piece of equipment. It is a mini computer with plenty of memory on board, fast processor. You're looking at everything in the palm of your hand that typically comes within a standard desktop almost. Some of the things that we're looking at here, as you can see, we have HDMI port, power through USB, which is kind of handy because these devices, the last thing you need is to run power cables, but if it's near a piece of equipment that supports USB, more power to you, you can use that. Or you can use external battery. We've even seen folks use solar panels to power these devices. Of course, your typical 4 ports for USB, Cat5 connectivity or for networking. These actually, the Raspberry Pi 3s do support wireless and it's built in, so that's one thing you don't actually have to worry about. And of course, there are a number of different things that you can use to even create your own connection to different sensors. So this looks like almost like an IDE connector for those of you who have worked on computers in the past, but it's actually not necessarily an IDE connector for a hard drive. It's designed to connect different pins to different things like LED lights or different sensors, and of course few other neat things, onboard sound card or sound chip and microphone. So as you can see, this device is extremely lightweight, portable, which makes it very attractive, and more importantly, it is cost effective, absolutely. Now again, this is not the only device that's in the marketplace today. There's a number of them that are extremely useful and powerful just as much as the Raspberry Pis. But for this example, the reason we're looking at Raspberry Pi, number one, that's the device that I personally have developed different apps and utilities for, and it's popular in the marketplace. I think everybody knows a Raspberry Pi. Another thing too is that this device does support Windows Core 10. Microsoft had released a version of their Windows 10 operating system so that it does run on an IoT or obviously Raspberry Pi 3, and there are other few IoTs that do support this. So when you're considering this for the enterprise, number one, you have to look at the different use cases that you can use the technology for a good purpose. It doesn't do you any good to just have this awesome gadget laying around when it's really not doing anything useful to you. So based on your vertical, identify what the marketplace has to offer as use cases that others have done in the past, or just get creative yourself. If you feel that there's a strong use case that you can leverage this technology, by all means. Without the casing, you're looking at $35 to $40 for the device. Of course, you have to add costs for the different sensors that you may need. And once you do that, then basically at that point, you can just start playing with it Now, if you are a developer, this is awesome because obviously you can develop pretty much a number of things. I mean, we've seen folks develop in .NET. Obviously, you can even run Node.js on it, so you can convert this into a mini web server or just anything. And so again, number one, play with it, get to know it, identify strong use cases. Number two, if you do identify that there's a number of things that you want to use it for, test it out. Take a look at it and see if the information that it's able to collect for you is valuable to you and the business or the enterprise. If it is valuable, the next step is to make sure that you implement some security safeguards so that these things are protected. Keeping in mind that if you're within a healthcare environment, there are a number of things that you have to consider. FDA approval, security based on the HIPAA regulatory compliance. There's a number of things that you have to take a look at, especially for some verticals. But regardless, security should always be a high priority, just simply because these devices are in the hands of everybody, including hackers. So the last thing you need to know or you need to have is a surprise on your hand that these things get hacked and the information that's been uploaded to your servers or hosted service has been compromised. And of course, once you roll it out and everything, continue to improve on it and continue to think of things that can help you in your organization. There are already a number of organizations out there that are actually selling solutions built onto the Raspberry Pi, so you're not required really to just build your own. You can always leverage others that have built it, third-party vendors and things like that, and really have fun with it. Definitely a device that's worth checking out and playing with, and from an enterprise perspective, this is where it's at in terms of IoT. You can definitely get a lot of things accomplished with these devices. Mass deployments should be an ease, just because there's a number of platforms out there that can actually help you manage. So if you have hundreds of these devices rolled out in the marketplace, guess what? There are definitely tools out there that can help you manage them. Not only manage the data that's being emitted from these devices and streamed out, but you can always manage the devices themselves, such as firmware upgrades, application updates, rollouts, and things like that. One of my favorite platforms that I've been using for the past 6 months is the Azure IoT Suite, just because it's easy to use. You provision it within minutes, and once you do that, you basically subscribe these devices to the platform, and it manages the full cycle. Not only the deployment of the updates and monitoring the devices if they're online and things like that, but also the stream of information that's coming in, and nothing screams easy than obviously having a lot of the services you need hosted where just a few clicks away and then you can start using them. Anyways, check it out, Raspberry Pi 3, and let us know what you think. Thanks.